Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, happy Thursday night. Today is Kelly Clarkson's birthday, but I'm not proud to be here in America, so I don't know if I should even celebrate it. But I do like her uh, staying out of toxic relationships, if you will. All right, please continue to pray for me by singing along with me, gesturing at your screen, and leaving a dislike on this video. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Let's pray one more time while we wait for others. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, this summer my main agenda is to look into moving out of the country. I got three places in mind now. Uh, I had a good time in Taiwan this past winter, even though my grandmother passed away and I was there for the funeral. Hadn't been to Taiwan in 5 years this time around, but I had a really good trip 5 years ago too. Uh, I had some kind of life turbulence as well 5 years ago, and the trip to Taiwan uh, helped put that away for a moment. So that was good too. So Taiwan is one place I'm thinking about. The only downside of Taiwan is that it's also very hot during the summertime. I have a lot of PTSD associated with heat. These last couple of days, it's been cooler here in the Arizona area. But last week, when it was really hot, it gave me PTSD because of something that happened last summer. And I want to get away from that for good. I'd rather deal with cold weather now. I don't have to. Cold weather also gives me some PTSD because I used to live in Rochester, New York. And one winter, I got into a toxic relationship. And so when it's freezing out there, it does give me PTSD as well. So it's really a no-win situation. I also thought about Poland. I had some good experiences there as well. And I recently contacted, believe it or not, Mary Curry's granddaughter. Her name is Helene. She's in France right now. So I'm also thinking about France. But three things happened this week that made me really think hard about pivoting careers, moving out of the country. I had gone to a previous workplace so to pick up some papers. I was getting ready to move to another apartment, and I and, picking up some documents. And when I got there, something happened that was very upsetting. You see, when I was working at this tutoring center, I had complained about their furniture. They had these like church benches that were really uncomfortable to sit. I mean, as a student, you might not realize it, but as an instructor, to sit on it for 8, 10 hours, it was very uncomfortable. And also, I was always scheduled last minute. I never knew when I could eat lunch. It caused a lot of eating disorder problems. And also, the place was very unkempt. You would pick up a binder like that, and all of a sudden, dust would fly off of it. It was visible. And I have eczema. I got to be careful when I come into contact with stuff like that. And when I complained, these idiots just drag their feet. We'll look into it. We don't have time to order furniture. Our schedules are packed. We don't have time to move furniture in and out, but we'll look into it. And I kind of just accepted that we were really busy. After all, I loved all of my students, right? One of my students, he his mom was really upset. What had happened was that he was learning history, and I described mercantilism as having huge surpluses, so you could go out and accumulate bismuth. It's really gold, but I said bismuth just so I could boast about my own bismuth art. And it got him looking into it, and he bought like 50 pounds of bismuth. He took money that he was saving up to buy a car and bought like 50 or 100 pounds of bismuth, something like that. And his mom was so upset about that. And they're doing really well. Assuming he kept the Bismuth to this day, he's doing really well right now. So I don't know if they're thinking about me now. So that's the kind of rapport I got with a lot of my students. So at the time, I kind of just accepted, you know what, you're right. It's probably not worth closing down a day or two to close the center to rearrange furniture. I get it. And but even then, they could clean up the place. In fact, I wanted to clean up the place because I was worried for my own health. And so one day after work, I jimmied the door on the tutoring center so it wouldn't lock. And so after everybody had left, I went back to go in and vacuum everything, just so I would feel a little bit more comfortable because I was concerned for my health. I have eczema, and so I couldn't even, should have asked my boss, hey, how about I come in after you guys close the cleanup? But he was very difficult to talk to. It was easier for me to just jimmy the door and do it myself, right? And long story short, 3 years later, I go in to pick up my old tax forms or whatever it was, and not only did they not have they have new chairs and all that, it was clean and they had renovated the kitchen. And I'm like, gee, why didn't you do it when I was talking about it? It was like I was less important than some other VIP they now have working there. I don't know who they have working. They only one of my old colleagues was still there. Everybody was new. I don't know. The owners were still there, and it's not like they changed owners and needed to renovate or anything like that. Just very upsetting to see. Very upsetting. During my time there, the owners they never spoke negatively about me either, but they behaved just in a very toxic way. Often I didn't know the schedule. My eating disorders really suffered during my time there because you got to understand, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I think I have a time for lunch at 4, and so I fast, and then last minute at 3:30, my boss comes to me, hey, we got another new student coming at 4. It really disrupted with the flow of my eating disorder. It's hard for me to explain that. Okay, so and then it made me want to think about leaving the United States, and then yesterday and earlier today, I already recorded about this because I was so upset. Yesterday, somebody that I care a lot about asked me about Ozempic. What I would think if she took Ozempic. And I'm thinking to myself, gee, there's a million other things you could do before we think about Ozempic. She's often stuffing her face. She's often sitting in front of her computer playing whatever game for like hours in a row. And how about we address some of that before we come back to Ozempic, right? That's what I'm thinking to myself. And I decided to do a little bit of research on just how Ozempic works anyway, just out of curiosity. And I discovered that for the most part, it messes with your hormones to make your brain think that you're full and block out hunger signals. And I'm thinking to myself, gee, has anybody really died from feeling hungry? I'm not talking about malnutrition, but from feeling hungry, right? Has anybody really died from that? It's not like if you were in severe pain, you might die, right? But hunger, really? Like for example, you get on a roller coaster and it feels weird, right? You're probably not going to die from that, right? It feels weird because your body associates that with danger, right? Because if you were on the ground and you felt like what it feels like to be on a roller coaster, there's probably some kind of event happening that really requires your attention, right? An earthquake, some kind of terrorism, or something, right? And you got to get out of there, right? That's your body's response to it, right? But when you get on the roller coaster, after all, many people will line up for 5-6 hours just to get on a ride, right? I think my record was in Japan. I was in Fujiku theme park, and I only got to ride 3 rides there. Each ride was like a multiple hour wait time, right? But if you're willing to wait 4 hours for like a 2-minute roller coaster ride, why can't you wait 16 hours to have your favorite? I just don't understand it. I just don't understand. Enjoy the ride. And unfortunately, people don't see it that way. And it just really goes to show how toxic our culture is, right? We cannot tolerate anything that goes against our normalcy, right? I mean, it's funny when it happens with food, but what's not so funny is people who will automatically reject somebody because of their race or religion or sexuality. It's the same concept, right? You're not willing to be open minded about something new that you're not used to seeing or dealing with, right? Um, and that when I heard her wanting to use Ozempic and her idea of it, yeah, but I won't feel hungry and all that, it just gave me a bad vibe, right? Because generalize a little bit more, it implies that people are not willing to feel something different, right? And not to mention the hot weather here in Phoenix and the PTSD associated with it. And the fact that every time you get sick, this week I haven't gotten COVID, but what I did get was my sleep got kind of disrupted. I was up all night one night talking to a girl in Taiwan, and I'm kind of jet lagged right this past week, and I felt all alone dealing with it, right? And I mean, this one's not so bad, but it just reminds me the next time I get COVID, I'm going to be all alone all over again, right? So please continue to pray for me by leaving a dislike on this video. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.